Hi everybody, Lori here from My Favorite Things. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a festive little holiday project to share with you using some goodies by My Favorite Things. So I'm going to start with a little ink blending. I'm using Twisted Citron Distress Oxide ink, but what I wanted to show you was how it looks when I start. I just got to stop and show you. Look how smudgy it is. It's not great. Sometimes you get a rough start in life. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get a rough start with a card, but you got to persevere. You know what they say, if you got lemons, make lemonade. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I decided go with the Lucky Clover, and I'm going heavy-handed. Sometimes when you go really heavy-handed, it's actually easier. It hides the smudges. And I'm going to try to fade this into the Twisted Citron, which, honestly, and I say this all the time, the Distress Oxide inks, they blend like butter. They really do. They just smear, especially when you're going from one color to the other. But I will say, when you're going really heavy-handed, it's easier, more forgiving. When you try to go light, sometimes that's when you can get the smudgy action. But what I'm trying to do here is go from Lucky Clover into the Twisted Citron, back into Lucky Clover. So the top and bottom are going to be dark and fade into light in the middle. So again, I'm blending the Lucky Clover. I'm going back in to try to get a seamless blend. It's not perfect, really. If you look at it long enough, you can see the imperfections. We're not going to worry about that because I've got this Mistletoe Cover-Up die that I'm going to die cut right into this ink blended panel. I take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine. I've got this retractable needle tool popping out all the innards like so. Now another thing that you can do, a little trick of the trade to hide any ink blending imperfections, is to go hog wild with the flickage. That's what I like to call, when you do flick so much, it's actually called flickage. So first I flicked with water. You know how the Distress Oxide and Distress inks give that nice reaction with water. Then I flicked on some of that Lucky Clover. I just smushed it on an acrylic block. I pick it up with a wet brush and I just flick, flick, flick. Now, you could stop there. I'm not gonna, because if you go hard, you gotta go hard or go home. That's what I saw. So this is white acrylic ink. Again, clean, wet brush. This gives you nice little white flicks. And look, it's very textural and it hides the boo-boos. Little trick of the trade. Put that in your back pocket. Save it for a rainy day. So I'm going to turn this into a little mistletoe shaker. Put little dots of Tombow Mono liquid adhesive all over. Going to adhere a panel or a sheet of acetate that I trimmed just to size. And I'm going to pop this up with these adhesive strips. They're pre-trimmed and they work wonderfully when you want to just put adhesive around the perimeter. And they're nice and thick, so it gives you room for your little filler to shake around. And I'm using some Little Things by Lucy. I believe these are called Pink Moonstone Sequins or something like that. So it's a very subtle but shimmery festive little shaker. Now for the sentiment, since I am going a little bit more on the traditional side, it's mostly red and green. I reined in the rainbow instincts today and kept it more traditional. So I'm going to do a little red and pink. I've got spun sugar, worn lipstick, and candied apple for that bright pop of red on the bottom. I'm going to die cut some letters into this little ink blended panel, and I'm using the Impact Alpha dies, which you can see right here. These are a must-have, a staple. I couldn't decide. I almost die cut the word Noel, and then I thought maybe Mary. I ended on Joy because it's short, it's only 3 letters. It fits nicely in the center of a card. Once I die cut the letters, I like to use my grid mat to line them up, get them straight, get them spaced, evenly. I take Post-it tape to hold them down so I can flip it over, put on the foam tape, and it holds it all together. And all you gotta do is line it up, pop it on. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then I'm gonna emboss a coordinating sentiment to put over the top of this joy. I'm using the Biddy Holiday Wishes. I'm gonna emboss the joy from me to you. By the way, did you notice? I painted my fingernails. I talked about this in my last video, how I hadn't painted my nails in like over 3 months. I think the move here to Germany just took the stuffings right out of me. But the other day, my daughter and I, we went to this really great drugstore. Who knew you could have so much fun in a drugstore? They had a whole wall of Essie nail polish, which was my favorite brand. We spent at least 2 hours looking at the nail polish and the makeup and the, just that girly stuff we did. We had fun, my daughter and I. And I bought this. It's called Lovey Dovey. It's a very bubblegum pink. It's you wouldn't think I'd like it, but I actually do. I don't know, something about it just like cheers me up. So I embossed the sentiment in clear. I'm going over it with hickory smoke and a little black soot on the edges. So it's like black, darker on the edges, fading a little bit lighter in the center. Got a lot of fading and gradient going on with this card. I trimmed it out, put a little foam tape on the back, popping that right in the center of the joy. And you could stop here, but I'm not gonna. I wanted to add a few little pops of color with these Rainbow Jewels by Little Things by Lucy, and that just gives you that little, wouldn't it be great if mistletoe had rainbow berries? That would just make my day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sending joy from me to you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.